Why be ordinary when you can be flamboyant? Panchaka Radio. Be flamboyant.
The candidate of the People's Democratic Party in Benue State, Samuel Ortom, has been re-elected for a second term. Returning officer in that state, Professor Marcos Sebastian, declared Ortom winner this Sunday after he polled 437,473 votes to beat his closest rival and candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Emmanuel Jime, who garnered 345,155 votes. In the March 9 exercise conducted by INEC, Ortom scored 410,576 votes over Jime, who scored 329,022 votes. The election was, however, declared inconclusive by the electoral umpire due to the gap between the cancelled votes of 121,019 and the winning margin of 81,554 votes. The supplementary election was held in 204 polling units across 22 local government areas on Saturday. Similarly, the candidate of the People's Democratic Party in Sokoto State, Aminu Tambuwal, has been re-elected for a second term. The state coalition officer, Fatima Mukhtar, returned him as the winner of the governorship election today, a day after supplementary polls were held. The PDP candidate polled a total of 512,002 votes after the 25,515 votes he got from the supplementary elections were added to the number of votes from the first exercise held on March 9. His closest rival, Ahmad Aliyu of the All Progressives Congress, got 511,660 votes after his 22,444 votes from the supplementary elections were added to that of the March 9 election. In a related development, PDP's Bala Mohammed won the supplementary election in Bauchi State. Returning officer Kyari Mohammed announced that Mohammed got a total of 6,376 votes, while the candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Mohammed Abubakar, who is the incumbent governor, polled 5,117 votes. Kyari, however, noted that he is in no position to make a return because the case involving Tafawa Balewa local government area is still in court. President of the United Labour Congress, Joe Ajaero, has warned that any increase in the value-added tax to pay the 30,000 naira new minimum wage would not be accepted. Ajaero gave the warning in reaction to a statement credited to the Minister of Budget and National Planning, Udo Udoma, that the value-added tax currently being charged at 5% could be raised to 50% before the end of 2019 to enable the government to fund the new wage. The United Labour Congress said there was no condition attached to the increase in salaries for workers during the tripartite negotiation, and if governments were contemplating a VAT increase to fund the new minimum wage, it should be discussed with stakeholders. You may recall that the National Assembly had on Tuesday passed 30,000 naira as the new minimum wage for workers, 2 months after the House of Representatives also approved the same. President Muhammadu Buhari on Wednesday declined assent to 5 more bills passed by the National Assembly. President Buhari, in a letter addressed to Senate President Bukola Saraki and read at Wednesday's plenary, explained that he rejected the immigration bill because it would have adverse effect on Nigeria's position on the ease of doing business ranking if signed into law. He added that the Chartered Institute of Pensions Practitioners Bill amounted to duplication of functions without an existing institute. The newly rejected bills include Nigerian Film Corporation Bill, Immigration Amendment Bill, Climate Change Bill, Chartered Institute of Pension Practitioners Bill, as well as the Digital Rights and Freedom Bill. The development brings to 26 the number of bills passed by the 8th National Assembly and rejected by President Buhari. The Abuja branch of the Federal High Court has refused to grant a fresh application by the African Action Congress to stop the collation of Rivers State governorship and House of Assembly elections. The party approached the court seeking an order to stop the collation and announcement of results from 17 local government areas in that state, where the Independent National Electoral Commission supervised on March 9. The presiding judge, Inyang Eko, held that the ex parte application brought before him by the party and its candidate, Awara Biokpomabo, was such that the court cannot grant without hearing the other side. And Nigeria has been ranked 85 out of 156 countries and second in sub-Saharan Africa in 2019, according to the annual Global Happiness Policy Report released on Wednesday. The report produced by the Global Happiness Council was in commemoration of this year's International Day of Happiness, and Nigeria's ranking, it says, is an improvement from its 91 position ranking in 2018. Finland is first as the happiest country in the world for a second year in a row, followed by Denmark, Norway, Iceland, and the Netherlands. The worst least happy country is South Sudan, followed by Central African Republic, Afghanistan, Tanzania, Rwanda, Yemen, Malawi, Syria, Botswana, and Haiti. The report ranks countries on 6 key variables that support well-being, which are income, freedom, trust, healthy life expectancy, social support, and generosity. In international news, the official death toll from Cyclone Idai, which tore through southern Africa more than a week ago, rose sharply on Saturday as authorities reported to cause more deaths. The number of people declared dead in Mozambique rose from 242 to 417, as Land and Environment Minister Celso Correa said. The new figure puts the overall death toll at about 700 people across Mozambique, Zimbabwe, and Malawi, and the death toll is expected to rise further. The storm has killed at least 259 people in Zimbabwe, but the United Nations said officials will only be able to determine the final casualty figure once the flood waters have receded. A science teacher from rural Kenya who gives away 80% of his salary to support poorer pupils has won a $1 million prize for the world's best teacher. Peter Tabichi, a member of the Franciscan religious order, won the 2019 Global Teacher Prize. He has been lauded for his achievements in a deprived school with crowded classes and few textbooks. He wants pupils to see science is the way to go for their futures. The award, announced in a ceremony in Dubai, recognizes the exceptional teacher's commitment to pupils in a remote part of Kenya's Rift Valley. Over $180,000 has been raised for Tanitoluwa Adewumi, an 8-year-old U.S. chess champion from Nigeria, after he won New York State Chess Championship. Tanitoluwa and his family fled Boko Haram crisis in Nigeria and have been living as refugees in the United States. According to the New York Times, Tanitoluwa's family is taking asylum in a homeless shelter in Manhattan after they fled the Boko Haram insurgency since 2018. The money means his family will be able to move out of the homeless shelter they have lived in for the last 2 years. Tanitoluwa's rating is now 1,587 and rising fast as it's been compared with the world's best player Magnus Carlsen, who stands at 2,845. Former US President Bill Clinton has congratulated the young chess champion and also invited him and his parents to his office for a personal introduction. And US internet company Google on Wednesday received a new fine ticket of 1.49 billion euros from the European Union for breaching antitrust rules. European Commissioner for Competition Margaret Vestager, in a press release, said the decision was made due to Google's illegal misuse of its dominant position in the market for the brokering of online search adverts. The European Commission maintained that Google has abused the market dominance by preventing rivals from competing in the online search advertising intermediation market. In business, the federal government has no intention to sell the Lagos International Trade Fair Complex, the Bureau of Public Enterprises has said. The Bureau, in a statement made available to correspondents on Tuesday by Head of Public Communications Amina Uthman, denied the purported sale of the complex, but said the federal government was in the process of concessioning the complex and had secured the services of transaction advisor Messrs Feedback Infrastructure Services to advise on the way forward for the proposed concession. The statement further warned members of the public that any purported allotment, buying, selling, letting, leasing, charging, and subdivision, construction upon or dealings in connection with the said property and parcels of land in any other manner howsoever without the written permission of the federal government represented by the Bureau is unlawful, illegal, fraudulent, and amounts to trespass. And the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation is considering extending the ongoing Ajaokuta-Kaduna-Kano gas pipeline system across the Sahara to Algeria in North Africa. According to the NNPC's Group Managing Director, Meikanti Baru, the consideration for the extension of the gas pipeline was in furtherance of the corporation's African integration drive. He further stated that the federal government was also working to extend the West African gas pipeline to Morocco. In entertainment, American singer Barbra Streisand has apologized after she was criticized for sympathizing with Michael Jackson over child abuse accusations against him. Streisand told the Times newspaper that she believed the allegations against the late superstar, but said his actions, quote, didn't kill the accusers. She later wrote on Instagram that she was, quote, profoundly sorry for any pain or misunderstanding caused. Jackson's brothers have denied that the singer sexually abused children. The latest accusations were made in a new documentary, Living Neverland, which features testimony from two men, Wade Robson and James Safechuck, who say they were abused hundreds of times by Michael Jackson from the ages of 7 and 10. In sports, Nigeria's Olympic team captain Azubuike Okechukwu is optimistic that the team will overturn its 2-0 first leg deficit suffered away to Libya in last week's Under-23 Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers. Azubuike told reporters that his side must create more chances in the final third to stand a chance of advancing to the group stages of the tournament to hold in Egypt from November 8 to 22 this year. Despite dominating the first leg, Nigeria's Olympic team failed to create a goal-scoring chance throughout the game. The Pharaohs of Egypt have arrived at Sabah for Tuesday's friendly against the Super Eagles at the Stephen Keshi Stadium. The Pharaohs finished their 2019 Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers campaign with a 1-1 away draw against Niger to drop their only 5th point in the group. The Super Eagles ended their 2019 qualifying campaign on a positive note following a 3-1 win against Seychelles at the Stephen Keshi Stadium on Friday. Both countries will use the game to prepare for the Africa Cup of Nations finals, which will be hosted by Egypt later this year. And 8-time tennis champion Serena Williams has withdrawn from the Miami Open due to a knee injury. Williams reached the 3rd round on Friday by beating Sweden's Rebecca Peterson, only the 7th match she has completed this year. The 23 Grand Slam winner was set to face Wang Qiang in the last 32, but the Chinese 27-year-old now gets a bye. Also, world number 1 Naomi Osaka suffered a shock 3-set loss to Sei Su Wei, ranked 27th in their 3rd round tie. That was News Roundup. I am Binta Bhadmus.
It is so easy to be a part of the Bansheka Radio family, but just so we are absolutely clear, here's how it works.
You begin by checking out our website at www.banshekaradio.com.
where you will find articles, pictures, videos, and of course, updates and announcements about us and maybe even about you, depending on what you're up to, of course.
Be sure to leave comments about anything that interests you on any of our platforms. And speaking of platforms,
You should totally follow us on Instagram at Bansheka Radio and join our page on Facebook. You know why?
Because you can tag us whenever you want to advertise you or anything you're promoting.
you should also join the conversation about our shows.
After you listen to them, of course.
And just like that, before you know it,
You'll be one of us.
Flamboyantly beautiful.
Yep, just like that. Bansheka Radio. Be flamboyant.
Why be ordinary when you can be flamboyant? Bansheka Radio. Be flamboyant.